In the silent moments before death, when everything slows, when breath grows shallow and the body trembles between two worlds, there is something else, something unseen, a presence, not loud, not violent, but overwhelming, like a cold wind in a sealed room, like a whisper that echoes through the bones. This is when he arrives, not with fire, not with thunder, but with stillness, an angel older than time, not of war, not of joy, but of endings. He does not speak, he does not shout, but he is always there, watching, waiting. When a soul takes its final breath, it is not alone. It is never alone, for in that moment, he comes. Some call him the angel of death, but that name is not quite right. He is not a monster, not a demon, not a punisher. He is a guardian, a silent escort. His name is Azrael. But how many have truly heard it? He is one of the archangels, mentioned in the shadows of ancient texts, known to mystics and prophets, and yet almost forgotten in the stories most people are told. He is not a figure of comfort like Raphael, not a messenger like Gabriel, not a warrior like Michael. Azrael is different. He stands at the edge of every life. He walks between moments. He holds the names of the living and the dates of their departure. But why has his name been erased from sermons? Why is he never carved into stained glass or painted on cathedral ceilings? Perhaps because his face is the one we all fear to see. And yet, in the old writings, the ones buried, banned, or barely remembered, Azrael plays a central role, the one who gently separates soul from flesh, the one who guides spirits across the veil, not with cruelty, but with clarity. In Islam, he is the Malak al-Maut, angel of death, tasked by God to receive the souls of men. In mystical Judaism, he is known by name, holding a book in which every life is written and every ending is recorded. In old Christian mysticism, he appears not as a villain, but as a solemn witness. So how did this powerful, eternal being become a ghost in our collective memory? Why is his presence felt but never named? Could it be that his truth is too heavy, that the real story of Azrael would force us to confront what we spend our lives avoiding? Because death is not the end. It is a crossing, a shift, and Azrael is the one who stands at the border. But here is where the mystery deepens. Some say Azrael does not merely escort the dead, but sees the unseen. He knows not just when we die, but how. He knows what is written in the shadows of our choices. He does not judge. He does not weep. He simply carries out what has already been decided. Yet, there are whispers. Whispers that Azrael can hesitate, that he can linger, that sometimes he sees something in a soul that makes him pause, not to disobey, but to feel, to witness, because Azrael is not just a blade, he is a balance between chaos and order, between mercy and fate. What happens when Azrael looks at a soul not with detachment, but with sorrow? What happens when even the angel of death mourns? And deeper still, there are those who believe Azrael once stood at the foot of the cross, not to take, but to witness, to feel the trembling of the earth, to see the breath leave the body of the one who bore the sins of the world. Did Azrael watch as heaven turned its face away? Did he record it all like a silent scribe? And if so, what did he write? The truth is we don't know, because Azrael does not speak in words. He speaks in silence. And the silence is where the secrets live. But one thing is certain. When the final hour comes, when every light fades and every sound dies away, it is not fear that enters the room. It is Azrael, the angel who does not bring death, but carries us through it. And for that reason alone, he is not to be feared. He is to be remembered. Azrael, the angel of death. For many, his name is synonymous with destruction, fear, and the end of life. He is a figure that haunts our imagination, often depicted as a cold, imposing being who comes to claim souls. But what if I told you that Azrael's true purpose is far deeper and more integral to the divine order than we've ever been told? Azrael is not simply the angel who brings death. Death is only one part of his purpose. He doesn't exist to bring chaos or pain. He exists to ensure that life and death remain balanced, and that the order of the universe continues smoothly. His role is to guard the transition, ensuring souls make their journey from this world to the next with peace and grace. Imagine for a moment if there were no Azrael, no guiding force to oversee this transition. What would happen? Would souls simply be lost? Would the barriers between life and death collapse entirely? The very existence of life is based on the understanding that one day death will come, and that death is not an end, but rather part of an eternal cycle. Azrael ensures that this cycle flows in its proper course. He is not just the bringer of death. He is the guardian of life's end, ensuring everything is in perfect divine order. He is the one who stands at the veil between worlds, watching as souls pass from the realm of the living into the afterlife. He doesn't simply take. He guides, helps, and watches over the souls, making sure their journey is one of peace. His role, though often feared and misunderstood, is as essential to life as the beginning of life itself. But here's the real mystery. What if I told you there's more to Azrael's purpose than just being the silent guide at the end of life? What if I told you that there are secrets about his true power that have been hidden, even erased, from most religious texts? What if Azrael is more than just a figure walking the border between worlds? What if his role extends far beyond what we've ever been allowed to understand? Azrael is often depicted as this looming figure who simply takes the soul. But what if this symbolism is misleading? What if Azrael is not a force of destruction, but a key player in the balance of the universe? There are ancient mysteries about Azrael that have been kept hidden. He isn't simply a passive observer who carries out the orders of a higher power. He holds ancient knowledge, knowledge that goes beyond life and death, secrets that speak to the true nature of the soul and its journey through the realms. Who exactly is Azrael working for? What is his true relationship to other divine forces? Is he merely following a script? Or does he possess knowledge that could reshape our understanding of life, death, and the afterlife? In the vastness of heaven and the divine order, Azrael's role is much more profound than we realize. The angels that we often revere, like Michael and Gabriel, stand as symbols of power and might, while Azrael is often silenced and overlooked. But why? Why is the angel who governs the final step in the life cycle kept so obscure in religious traditions? There's a truth buried in Azrael's silence, something that, if understood, could unlock a new perspective on life's purpose, death's role, and what happens to us when we cross to the other side. Maybe Azrael is more than just the end. Maybe in the stillness of his presence, we are actually getting a glimpse into the mysteries of the universe itself. So what are we missing? What secrets have been erased? And what do we need to understand about the angel of death before we can truly comprehend the full cycle of life? Have you ever wondered why Azrael, the angel of death, is rarely mentioned in the Bible or other widely recognized religious texts? In a world filled with angelic beings, Gabriel, Michael, and others, Azrael stands as a key figure. Yet his name is often absent when we talk about the divine hierarchy. Why? What has been hidden about him? The truth is, Azrael plays a pivotal role in the cosmic order, guiding souls from this life to the next. Yet he is overshadowed by other angels in the religious stories we've grown up with. Even in Islamic tradition, where Azrael is an essential part of the angelic realm, his full story remains obscured. His role is mentioned, but only in passing, and in many ways his true significance remains veiled from most of us. So why does the angel of death remain so hidden in the mainstream narratives? Why isn't he as celebrated or understood as other angels like Michael or Gabriel? The Bible, for instance, speaks little of Azrael, and when he is mentioned, it's often in passing references, never truly exploring the depth of his role in the divine structure. In the Old Testament, angels are often described, but Azrael's name is rarely mentioned. Instead, we hear of other angels, warriors of heaven, who are known for their deeds in battle or their messages from God. But Azrael, whose task is to oversee the passage of souls, remains silent and mostly hidden from these scriptures. Wait, what is it about Azrael that makes him so hard to pin down in these sacred texts? Could it be that his role is simply too powerful to be fully understood? Perhaps Azrael's power doesn't lie in his destructive abilities, but in his quiet authority over life and death itself. He holds the keys to the final transition of every soul. If you think about it, death is something we fear, something we don't understand fully. And if Azrael were fully revealed in religious texts, we might have to confront our understanding of death, of finality, and what it truly means for the soul. But perhaps there's more to it than that. Could Azrael be too important to be understood by ordinary believers? Or perhaps his true nature is a secret, one that the religious authorities didn't want the general public to fully grasp? Could his role be so intertwined with divine mystery that it challenges everything we know about life and death? If Azrael is truly an angel who doesn't just oversee death, but also plays an essential role in the balance of the universe, could there be deeper truths about him that have been kept from us? Could his revelation be too powerful for us to process? Or perhaps too dangerous for our understanding of life and spirituality? These questions raise a far more profound concern. If Azrael's role truly is as essential as the one who governs the end of life, then his absence in religious texts might not be a coincidence. The idea that he is erased could imply that his true purpose is much more powerful than we've been led to believe. And what if there's a reason why we haven't been allowed to fully know the truth about the angel of death? Could it be that Azrael's role connects more deeply to the cosmic balance between life and death, something far beyond what we see in conventional religious teachings, something that could revolutionize our understanding of existence, purpose, and the afterlife? As we delve deeper into Azrael's story, we must ask ourselves, why silence this figure who has such a profound influence over the life cycle? What's at stake if the world were to truly understand who Azrael is and what his purpose means for the divine order? Azrael, the angel of death. We often think of him as the one who simply takes souls, a figure feared in mythology, a symbol of the end. But what if I told you that Azrael is more than just a bringer of death? What if he is actually the keeper of balance, the one who ensures that the cycle of life and death continues as it should? Imagine for a moment that death isn't an ending at all, but just another step in the eternal cycle of existence. In this cycle, life and death are not opposites, but rather parts of the same balance. Without one, the other cannot exist. It's like the rising sun. The end of the night always leads to the beginning of a new day. And in this cosmic rhythm, Azrael is the silent guardian, making sure that this balance never falters. But there's something deeper here. Azrael's role doesn't just involve ending lives. It's about making sure that every soul transitions at the right moment and into the right place. Every soul that passes through this world is guided by him in the ultimate journey from one life to the next. And if this transition doesn't happen correctly, if it is somehow disrupted, the entire cycle could collapse. Without Azrael's intervention, chaos could reign in the afterlife. The delicate balance between life and death would be thrown off, leading to devastating consequences for the entire universe. This raises a crucial question. What happens if Azrael's role is interrupted or if his influence is removed? If the guardian of the afterlife is no longer there to guide souls, what would become of them? Would souls wander, lost between realms, unable to find their resting place? And what about the living? If the natural order is disturbed, how would that affect the world of the living? We've come to understand that life and death are not just abstract concepts. They are the two forces that drive the very heartbeat of the universe. Life cannot exist without death, and death cannot happen without life. They are two sides of the same coin, and Azrael is the keeper of that coin. His job isn't to simply take life. His job is to ensure the continuation of the cosmic flow. Just as the seasons change, just as the sun rises and sets, just as time flows forward, the cycle of life must be preserved. Azrael makes sure of that. Every soul that leaves the world of the living is given the chance to pass into the afterlife in peace. And every time a life comes to its end, Azrael is there, not as a harbinger of doom, but as a guardian of the cosmic rhythm. It's easy to view Azrael as just a figure of darkness, a figure of death, but he is much more than that. He is a symbol of order, structure, and continuity. If the balance between life and death were to be disrupted, if Azrael's role were to be erased, then the universe itself would lose its ability to function. The life cycle would cease to move forward. Death would become chaos. Without Azrael, we would lose the path to the afterlife, and the journey of every soul would be left unfinished. This leads us to another mystery about Azrael. Is his presence so vital that it could affect the very nature of existence itself? Could the cosmic order depend entirely on his continued role in the universe? What would happen if his role were to be lost, or if his guidance were replaced? Could the entire balance between life and death tip into disorder? Could there even be chaos if Azrael's task is not fulfilled? As the guardian of the life-death balance, Azrael holds the fate of all souls, both those living and those who have passed. His influence stretches far beyond what we often understand. He is not merely an angel who takes lives, but the divine force that keeps the world turning, ensuring that the cycle of life remains uninterrupted, that the souls who pass on find their rightful place, and that death itself does not become something to be feared, but something that is as natural as birth. What would happen, though, if Azrael's role were challenged? What if the cycle of life was ever interrupted? If the transition between life and death became corrupted? Or if Azrael's divine intervention was not available to guide souls? Would the world, both living and dead, descend into chaos? The very concept of life after death would crumble, and the natural order we've come to trust could shatter. The balance that Azrael upholds is not just important, it is essential. He stands as the final guardian between life and death, and his role is perhaps the most misunderstood, even though it is the one that ensures the cosmos flows properly. If his purpose is disrupted, the entire flow of existence would begin to break down. That's how essential Azrael's presence is in maintaining the order of the universe. There are mysteries in this world that we can never truly understand, depths of knowledge that are beyond the reach of human comprehension. One of those mysteries is Azrael, the angel of death. Azrael is not just an angel who guides souls. He is something more. He is the silent witness to every life and every death that occurs across time. And within his silence lies a truth, a knowledge that no other angel, no human, can ever fully grasp. Think about it for a moment. Azrael is the only being who has stood at the threshold between life and death for every soul. He is the one who watches over the living as they die, the one who guides them into the afterlife, and in doing so, he becomes the keeper of their final moments. But Azrael's understanding goes beyond the mere act of guiding souls. He knows what it's like to cross the veil, to see both worlds, the world of the living and the world of the dead, and perhaps, in ways we can never fully comprehend, he understands the truth of what happens when we die. What does that mean for us? It means that Azrael has intimate knowledge of what it's like to leave life behind, to make that final transition that none of us can experience until our time comes. Every soul he guides, every passing he oversees, brings him closer to the ultimate truth about the nature of the soul. He knows what it means to cross into the afterlife, to walk that thin line between life and death, a place where no human can venture. But there's more to Azrael than just his role as the guide to the afterlife. What if I told you that Azrael holds the key to secrets that no other being in existence can ever fully understand? What if his silence, his distance from the world, is not just because of his task, but because there are things he knows, things he understands that no one else can grasp? Azrael, in his silent watch, knows the deepest truths about the human soul. He knows what we carry within us, our hopes, our fears, our burdens, and he watches as those things leave us when we pass. But does he know more? Does he see things we can never understand? Does Azrael have the ability to perceive the true nature of our souls, the truths we hide from ourselves? Here's the real mystery. Azrael stands between worlds, and in doing so, he may know things about us that we can never know. As the keeper of the final passage, he watches us as we cross over, but he also watches those who are left behind. He is the one who sees both sides, the living and the dead, and yet he speaks no word. He does not interfere. He does not reveal the secrets he knows. Why? What truths does Azrael carry within him, locked behind his silence? We can never know what happens beyond the veil, not truly, and neither can Azrael. Yet in his eternal watch, he holds a piece of the puzzle, something that no one else can understand, because Azrael is not a mere messenger. He is the silent observer to the greatest mystery of existence. He is the one who knows how souls truly pass, and he is the one who stands between this world and the next. Perhaps it's because of this that he has been made silent, because what he knows is too great, too profound to be revealed. Could it be that the knowledge Azrael carries is something too dangerous for humans to understand? What if the truth of life and death, the truth of the soul's journey, is hidden from us because we are not ready to face it? The more Azrael watches, the more he learns, and yet he never speaks, never shares what he knows. And this silence is part of his burden. While we may go through life wondering what happens after death, Azrael knows. He knows the truth about what comes next, and he is burdened with the knowledge of every soul that passes into the afterlife. What does he see in those moments, and how does he carry that weight? Does it change him, knowing the true fate of those he guides? There is a saying, to be the witness is to bear the weight of the truth. Azrael is not just a guide, he is the eternal witness, and what he knows we may never understand. He stands in silence, bearing the weight of his divine knowledge, a knowledge that is not meant for mortal minds. Azrael knows things about us that we can never comprehend, things that may never be revealed until our time comes. In the end, the question remains, what does Azrael truly know, and why must he remain silent about it? The truth may lie in his quiet presence, in the very fact that he is the silent observer, the one who knows but does not speak, the one who holds the key to the greatest mystery of life and death. Azrael, the angel of death, has been an enigma for centuries. His name is mentioned in various religious texts, yet he remains shrouded in mystery, often overlooked in favor of more prominent figures. But perhaps his silent presence is the key to understanding a deeper aspect of life and death, one that goes beyond the fear and uncertainty that usually surrounds the end of life. Throughout this journey, we have learned that Azrael isn't just an agent of death, as we often think of him. He is the keeper of balance, the one who ensures the natural flow of life and death remains uninterrupted. His role isn't to destroy, but to restore order, to maintain the cosmic cycle between life and death, a cycle that is vital to the structure of the universe itself. Azrael is there at the threshold between worlds, guiding souls as they leave this existence and enter the next. He doesn't intervene in the natural course of life. Instead, he watches from the shadows, acting only when it is time for a soul to make the final journey. His work is silent, necessary, and above all, sacred. The very fact that we hardly hear about him in the scriptures speaks volumes about his divine purpose. It's almost as if his purpose is too pure, too infinite, to be described in human terms. Imagine for a moment that life isn't just a random series of events. It is a carefully designed cycle, a cycle that requires both life and death to exist in harmony. Azrael, in his quiet role, stands as the final witness to every life that ends. While many of us focus on the beginning of life, the birth, and the early stages of human existence, Azrael's role reminds us that the end is just as important. The end of one life makes way for the continuation of another. And in this role, Azrael is the only one who truly knows the full extent of our journeys. He is the keeper of the final truth. He is the one who sees us, not as we see ourselves, but as we truly are. He is the one who understands the purpose of every life as it reaches its end and beyond. He is not a figure to be feared, but a figure to be understood. For in understanding him, we can begin to see life and death for what they truly are. Part of a much larger design, a divine balance that is far beyond our grasp. Azrael may never speak directly to us, but his role is undeniable. He ensures that the order of the universe remains intact, that the cycle of life and death continues without disruption. He isn't just the angel of death, as we often label him. He is the one who keeps the balance, ensuring that life's end is not feared, but embraced as the next step in the grand plan of existence. We may never fully understand the magnitude of Azrael's purpose, but that doesn't mean his presence doesn't have an impact on us. He guides, watches, and protects the natural course of life, even when we're unaware of it. And maybe that's the true lesson of Azrael's existence, that even in his silence, he plays an integral role in maintaining the universe's divine order. Azrael's quiet, eternal purpose is one of balance. He is not the end, but a transition, a passage from one realm to another. He is the final witness to all our lives, the one who stands between worlds, ensuring that we can leave this existence with peace and dignity. The next time we think of death, we should remember that it is not something to fear. It is simply another step in the cycle. Azrael reminds us that there is no finality in life's end. There is only continuity. There is no darkness in the final passage. only a transition into another form of existence. Azrael stands quietly, keeping his vigil over us all. He does not seek our attention, but his role is as vital as any angel who carries the light of heaven. His presence is essential to the balance of life and death, and in his silence, he may understand more about the truth of our souls than we will ever comprehend. As we reflect on Azrael's hidden role in the grand design of the universe, we realize that sometimes the most powerful forces are not those that shout and demand attention. Sometimes the most important forces are the ones that stand quietly, doing their work in the background, ensuring the balance that keeps the world spinning, even as we remain unaware of their existence. Azrael may never speak to us directly, but his influence on our lives, on every life, is undeniable. And as we walk through our days, perhaps the most important lesson is to remember that life and death are part of the same cycle, and that Azrael, the silent witness, is there, watching, guiding, and ensuring that the cycle continues, unbroken and undisturbed.